On the night of January 13th, 1932, a shot rang out in the darkness, shattering the silence of a Philadelphia mansion and leaving a legacy of wealth and power forever tarnished by the stain of murder. The city of Philadelphia was a bustling metropolis, home to some of the most influential families in the country, including the Duponts, who had made their fortune in the gunpowder and explosives industry. At the heart of this family was Alfred P. Drexel, a wealthy and well-connected socialite who had built a life of luxury and excess, but beneath the surface, secrets and scandals simmered, waiting to be exposed. As the night of January 13th wore on, the city's elite would be shaken to its core, and the name Drexel would become synonymous with tragedy and heartbreak. The Drexel family had long been a fixture of Philadelphia society, with their grand estates and lavish parties, but Alfred's life was not without its challenges. He had been embroiled in a bitter dispute with his brother, Joseph, over the family business, and the tension between them had been building for years. As the days turned into weeks, the silence between them grew thicker, like a fog that refused to lift, and it seemed that only a spark was needed to set off a chain reaction of events that would change everything. And then, on that fateful night, the spark was lit, and the consequences would be devastating, leaving a trail of shattered lives and buried secrets in its wake. As the darkness closed in, the city's police department was left to piece together the events of that night, and the investigation that followed would be shrouded in mystery and intrigue. The authorities would eventually focus their attention on a young man named Joseph Wilfred Dupont, a member of the wealthy and influential Dupont family, who had a reputation for being hot-headed and impulsive. But as the detectives dug deeper, they would uncover a web of deceit and corruption that went all the way to the top, and it would become clear that nothing was as it seemed. The further they investigated, the more they would realize that the truth was far more complex and sinister than they had ever imagined, and that the killer may have been closer than they thought. As the days turned into weeks, the city held its breath, waiting for the truth to be revealed, and the tension was palpable, like a living, breathing thing that pulsed with an energy all its own. The streets were filled with whispers and rumors, and the name Dupont was on everyone's lips, but the family itself remained tight-lipped, refusing to comment on the speculation that was swirling around them. And then, just as it seemed that the case was going cold, a breakthrough came, and the killer would finally be exposed, but the revelation would be shocking and would shatter the illusion of wealth and privilege that had long surrounded the Dupont family. The night of January 13th, 1932, would prove to be a turning point in the history of the Dupont family, a moment when the facade of respectability and elegance would be stripped away, and the darkness that lay beneath would be revealed. And as the truth finally came to light, it would become clear that the shot that rang out that night was not just a random act of violence, but a symptom of a far deeper disease, one that had been festering for years and would ultimately lead to the downfall of a dynasty. On the night of January 13th, 1932, a shot rang out in the darkness, shattering the silence of a Philadelphia mansion and leaving behind a legacy of tragedy and heartbreak that would haunt the Dupont family for generations to come. A stark reminder that even in the most privileged of lives, the darkest of secrets can be buried, waiting to be exposed.